Hey guys, what's up? It's Ripe again. In today's video, a bunch of entitled jerks messed with my disabled grandma and repeatedly blocked her parking spot. I taught them a lesson they will never forget. Here is what happened. Subscribe to Ripe on YouTube and hit the bell to turn on notifications. I have a very close bond with my grandma, and she is basically the person who raised me into what I am today. She has also always had some level of disability, but the older she got, the more debilitating it became. I learned at a young age that some people can be horrible to disabled people and feel no remorse in taking advantage or making fun of them. Because of this, I have a very low tolerance for these people and have a tendency to want to get revenge on them. Oh, and by the way, Ripe stars, I forgot to mention, I am still a little bit sick, so my voice might still sound different. Anyway, most of the time when I was a teenager, it would consist of me confronting these jerks outright, and that was usually enough to get them to back off. Fast forward to the present, and I am working in a restaurant that is located inside of a shopping center. My grandma loves to come and eat here, and my boss, who owns the restaurant as well as the rest of the staff, absolutely love her. It only takes her a short while to drive over, and the disabled parking is right in front of the restaurant, which makes it easier for her. She recently had to upgrade from a cane to a walker, and it takes her a while to get around now. Once inside, even if I'm not currently in front to take care of her, I know somebody else will, and she will be chatting away with any staff that's not busy. She tends to come between lunch and dinner, and when it is quiet. This one day though, I was rolling up silverware in napkins when one of my coworkers came to get me. I looked outside and saw that my grandma was being harassed by a bunch of guys that were parked illegally in the disabled parking area. You know, the blue striped area next to disabled spots that allow people to have room to do things like lower ramps for wheelchairs. They were parked there, and because of it, my grandma did not have any room to get the walker out of her back seat. They had no disability card on their car, and even if they did, they could not park there illegally. They were laughing at my grandma and even faking a limp. By the time I opened the door, I managed to catch one of them saying that if she couldn't walk, then she should not come to the shopping center to begin with. I walked out and I was so angry, I wanted to punch those guys right in the face. I knew I would be fired since I was on the clock, but I didn't care. My grandma managed to calm me down, and instead I acted like a professional. I told them they had to move, but they just laughed at me and called my grandma an old, very bad slur for disabled people, aka CRIPPLE, and walked off. I managed to get her walker out for her, and we went into the restaurant. I was not just going to let these guys get away with it. The way our shopping center works is that to stop constant need for security and towing illegal cars, we are only supposed to call if there is an immediate danger because of it. Otherwise, we have to take pictures showing the illegal parking and send it through a program. They get the info through the plates and send the people a ticket in the mail. They don't even know when they leave that they got in trouble for parking like that. My grandma was upset, but after a nice meal and chatting with the staff, she seemed to be doing better. I was not done with these punks yet though. I started checking before my shift, after my shift, and on my breaks to see if their car ever showed up again. Turns out this was not a one-time thing, and they seemed to not care about where they parked. I caught them in actual disabled spots illegally. I caught them in employee parking areas when I know they don't work anywhere here. I even once got pictures of them parking on a line, so they took 2 spots on purpose. All of these things were grounds for sending pictures, and I knew soon that they would start getting a ton of expensive fines in the mail. The only illegal place they did not park was a fire truck zone, which is the one place that I would have been allowed to call the police on them. It was not just me doing this though. The restaurant staff all felt like my grandma was their family too and got mad when they found out what happened. I think between a bunch of us we got about 30 different fines sent to this car. I have no idea if they were paying them off or ignoring them, but I know they got them because one day they caught me taking a picture of their illegal parking and followed me into the restaurant. They started a huge scene of telling me that I have no right to take photos of their car and they could have me arrested for it. I just explained that it is legal and the proper protocol for illegal parking. Before they could do anything, the owner came and kicked them out. He is a huge dude that once people get a look at, nobody wants to mess with. The last thing they told me was that they were going to make sure that me and my grandma were the ones that ended up having to pay for their fines. I think each fine is like $100, so they had to pay a ton of money for their parking tickets. I never found out exactly what happened, but I have a pretty good idea based on the last few times I ever saw those guys. They started finally parking legally, but then I stopped seeing the car. I would still see them, but they were not entering with a car, which meant they either were walking or taking the bus. My guess would be they could not pay the tickets and they lost the car because of it. I don't know much about parking tickets and laws, so maybe the guy lost his license from having too many or not paying them. If anybody knows if that's a thing, please let me know, I'm down in the comments. Anyway, they never came into the restaurant as far as I knew, so I guess they realized they lost the battle. Meanwhile, my grandma still comes all the time to get a nice meal and some company. We like to joke that the disabled parking spots in front should have her name on it because of how much her car is parked there. It just makes me really happy to know that after growing up being the only person to defend her, I am not alone anymore. She now has a ton of people in her corner helping her fight back against these kinds of jerks. I know that there are a ton of horrible people in the world and some do way worse things than these guys did, but in my mind though, the worst kind of person you can be is somebody who mocks or makes fun of somebody for having a disability. Daily life can be hard enough without those people making it even worse. And yeah, Ripe Stars, I gotta say, I'm not surprised by stories like these, because it seems like in general society, no matter which country, for many people empathy or being nice to people is not even part of their vocabulary anymore, and they only care about themselves. There is no respect for others, even for disabled people or elderly, so that's why I think it is very important, just like OP said, to step in and do something when needed. Either way, the next one is titled, Give Me a Free Vacation. My boyfriend's cousin, his paternal uncle's daughter, has 4 children. Each of her kids is the personification of the word bratty. The said cousin refuses to discipline them and constantly has excuses for their behavior. She is also very judgmental of our decision to not have children. She has often made some snide comments towards me, implying that I'm the selfish woman who is depriving my boyfriend of the joys of raising children. For these reasons and for her general entitled behavior, my boyfriend had cut ties with her. However, when he and I visited his parental home 3 days ago for his parents' anniversary celebration, we ran into her again. My boyfriend's dad had urged him to use this occasion to mend bridges with the cousin. So then we both tried to make nice and engage in small talk with her. During our conversation, boyfriend mentioned that we were leaving for Melbourne for vacation in a few days. At this, cousin's eyes lit up and she said, "Oh, that sounds like so much fun. My husband and I have not gone anywhere since our honeymoon." She then whined some more about how hard it is for them with 4 kids if only they could afford such luxuries, etc. I could tell where this was going. My boyfriend probably felt sorry for her and, being the kind and generous soul that he is, offered to buy them a weekend in a resort in MT, which is I guess Mount Abu that is referred to here, a hill station in the Indian state of Rajasthan. Cousin, face scrunched up, "That's nice, but why can't you just take us to Melbourne with you?" Boyfriend, getting a bit annoyed but still patient, "Well, we want to spend some time alone together. Plus, we will be meeting some close friends there. Besides, Mount Abu is a beautiful place. Your kids will really love it." Cousin, in the annoying Karen tone, "I still don't see why you cannot take us to Australia. You're being so selfish, going on this great trip and sticking your family with a cheap weekend getaway." Boyfriend's mom, cousin's name, "He's making a very generous offer. Either take it or leave it." Cousin, wearing the expression that morons wear when they think they have a bright idea, "Oh, I know. Why don't my husband and I go to MT Abu and you can take our kids to Melbourne?" Me, "What?" Cousin, "It's a great idea. The kids can have fun in Melbourne with you too, and my hubby and I can enjoy a peaceful weekend. This way the kids can actually spend some time with their uncle. You never make time for them." BF, "I'm offering for the last time. It's either the weekend in MT Abu or nothing at all. And why the hell would we ruin our vacation taking care of your kids?" Cousin, "How can you say that? My kids are so well behaved. You will have so much fun spending time with them. Besides, my husband and I could really use some quiet time together. You and OP don't have any responsibilities. You have no idea how hard it is to raise 4 kids. You can afford this trip. I don't see why you won't share with family." Boyfriend, "One more word and you're losing my offer." On hearing this, the cousin shut up. We then all had dinner together and she was mercifully quiet. If only her kids had followed her example. You would think this would be the end of it, but no, we had seriously underestimated her dedication to her Karen-ness. On the morning of the day of our departure, cousin showed up at my apartment with the kids in tow. I was shocked to see her, of course, and asked if something was wrong. She smiled and said, "I'm just here to drop the kids off. You're leaving tonight, right?" After taking a second to recover from the shock, I asked, "Did you fall and hit your head on something? We told you we were not taking the kids with us. What part of that did you not understand?" She then tried to convince me that my boyfriend had called her later on and had agreed to take her kids. I knew this was BS and called it as such. Cousin became enraged and asked if I was going to break her kid's heart, why would I break our promise, and how boyfriend and I could be so cold. I called my BF, and after telling him what was going on, I turned on the speaker. My boyfriend proceeded to chew her out brutally right in front of her kids, telling her he would no longer pay for their weekend getaway, and that is exactly the kind of behavior that had made him cut ties with her. She tried to get a word in, but he wouldn't let her. Cousin took her kids and stormed off. Boyfriend and I are having a laugh over this and are still wondering what made her think that this plan would ever work. And yeah, ripe stars, I would say if you have 4 kids and cannot take responsibility for them, maybe you shouldn't have kids in the first place. Also, if you have that many kids and then complain about not having free time or whatever, I mean, it was your choice and it is no one else's fault. Anyway, let's continue to the next one. This one is titled Begging Entitled Karen. So the cast is A/TFM, the family member Karen, the villain of this tale, not real name of course, and I, fresh out of high school, was getting tired of working 1 part-time and 2 casual jobs, so I took the advice from AFM to interview to be a caretaker for her friend's kids. The interview went well, if not slightly creepy. Karen kept saying how pretty both her and her husband thought I was, and how if this arrangement goes well, we could look into you moving in with us. May have been innocent, but it did not seem like it. She then goes on a tirade about how her past daycare was abusive for not feeding her child when he threw a tantrum and refused to eat the lunch the daycare provided him. She did admit to me that he was still given snacks throughout the day though. Then she went into what the job entailed. I would work 40 to 48 hours a week. I had to take the children, a male toddler and female baby, somewhere exciting every day. Don't take them to the same old park every day. I was to clean, go shopping and prepare food for her kids throughout the day, not that frozen crap, and supper for them at least twice a week. If I felt comfortable, it would be nice to come home to a home-cooked meal, not made by me, wink wink. Side note, the toddler was allowed to drink, pop and eat candy, chocolate, but I couldn't feed this kid some dino nuggets. After the interview, I went home only to realize in all that chaos I never asked about how much I was to be paid. Well, I did near the beginning, but she said we would negotiate later, so then I messaged her. She replied with, "How does $11 per hour sound?" I was excited though, the job seemed like a lot of hard work and paid a little less than my other jobs. I got way more hours, so I accepted. Later, we were talking about what day I would start, 2 weeks from then, and then she said, "Starting off, we agreed on 1,100 per month. If after a month you're doing a good job, we can change it to 1,200. Wait, what? Maybe $11 is too much for a full-time sitter in the early 2010s. I don't know, I messaged her immediately, me, what? You messaged that I would be making $11 per hour. She never said hour, but like $11 for anything other than an hour did not make sense. Her, that's ridiculous. That's more than I pay at daycare. I never said that. I then sent her a screenshot with the message mentioning making 11 per her. Oops, I must have gotten the punctuation wrong. I meant 1,100 per month. Me, why didn't you clarify it was per month? Her, you didn't ask. She then tried negotiating the price. Well, we could probably pay 1,200 right now, but that would mean no raise for quite some time. After this, I told her I was not going to do it because I would legit be making like $5 an hour. She then left me 4 voicemails saying I was being very selfish, unprofessional, and I should have brought this up sooner. I then ghosted. This was probably an a-hole move, and I then heard from TFM that Karen was forced to go back to the old daycare. Also, please keep in mind these people were very well off, meaning richer families, good jobs, etc. And yeah, ripe stars, I don't think that OP was the a-hole in the situation. Nobody should work for a slave wage. And since I assume this story took place in the United States, $5 per hour is certainly not enough. Either way, the next one is titled Get Free Food and Complain? Alright. So this happened recently, so the details are fairly sharp. Just some basic disclaimers, I'm on phone and English is not my first language. In the country where I live, you can order food online and decide to pay online or by cash. Once you order, someone on a moped or bike delivers it to your house. So I was a bike deliverer and someone ordered some huge order for around 40 euros. It was a rainy day and it was almost at the end of my shift, so I was already agitated before even hearing of the order. So all the mopeds were already on a delivery and I was on a bike and had to cycle 5 kilometers to her address in the rain. Once I get to her house, I am soaked and even more angry because when I go up to the door, some random guy opens up. This woman put in the wrong address and I needed to cycle for another 2 kilometers. Once I get to her actual house, I had to wait for her to open the door, and then the most typical Karen you can think of opens the door, and I'm now knowing what she was going to do. She was gonna try and get her food for free by telling me her food was cold. Me is me, I for idiot woman, and B for boss. Me, hi, you ordered? Yeah, that took you a while. Me, yeah, I got the address wrong. Doesn't matter, I'm here and so is your food, with my best fake smile. Stupid woman, that's great, rips food out of my hand. Me, you still need to pay 40 euros. Karen, the food is cold. Me, of course, it's raining and you made me go to the wrong address. Idiot woman, that's not my problem. Me, it sort of is. Well, what? Are you going to give me new warm food? I cannot just make warm food in front of your house, Karen. You better find a way or I'm going to call your boss. I've actually been on the phone with my boss the whole time. He is a legend. He drinks beers with me and knows that I'm low on money, so he always finds a way to put in more hours than I worked. I had earplugs in and was not being that rude. Me, go ahead. He will gladly tell you that I cannot make food in front of your house and that you need to wait for a long time for your food. But I want my food now. I cannot help that. It's food now or your food is cold. I want my food warm and now. No need to start yelling at me. I'm gonna call your boss and tell him that you're being rude. You can come in and hear what he has to say. I gladly step into the house to avoid the rain because it was still raining and there was no roof above the house. Karen puts her phone on speakers. B, hello, boss here. What can I do for you? Karen, yeah, hello. I have a very rude delivery guy. Boss, could you tell me your address? Karen tells her own address and boss, I don't have an order at that address. Me, she put the wrong address. It's under tells address where the order was placed. B, yeah, I see it now. That's 2 kilometers away. Yeah, but the food is cold. Boss, that does not surprise me. So? Boss, so? Where's my warm food? That needs to be made. How long will that take? About 40 minutes. It's really busy. But I want my food now. I cannot do that, miss. Sorry, miss, but you're going to have to wait. Boss, he also forced entry into my house. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. You invited me in. You made the whole floor wet. Yeah, it's raining outside. I'm not going to pay for my food now. Well, this still needs payment. You're going to pay for it. No, I'm not gonna do that. Well, I'm not either. Ma'am, calm down. You guys are attacking me. If you don't calm down, you will not get any food at all. F you. OP, get out of the house. Idiot woman, you're not going to get any food from us anymore. After I left the house, I took the food by the way, and the woman yelled some stuff after me. The boss got back on the phone with me and told me I could get to eat the food, which was still sort of warm. Once I got back, he threw a beer at me and told me I could go. The lady called the store a couple of times and screamed at my boss. I hope I never see you again, idiot Karen. And yeah, Ripe Stars, I gotta say, I was really glad in this story that the boss had OP's back, and it can be very helpful to have a boss that supports you, because that's definitely not a given. Either way, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I see you again tomorrow.